Wonderful session. Moving on to the next session. The next session is going to focus on a sales driven activity, which is very understated, but very effective. Very few developers have understood the importance of this channel of sales, and very few developers have been successful in using this to, build their brand and, garner sales on a very continuous basis. So the next session, I would like to welcome Akhil Saraf, founder and CEO of Reloy, to talk about generating incremental sales through your biggest sales form, your customers. So we would love to hear about you, and hopefully after this session, more developers are going to use this channel to build their brand and drive sales.
Thanks so much, Kapil. Honestly, like one of the big reasons that I got into real estate, and like first, it's a very special honor to be here. I'm 30 years old, right? So for me to be giving this in front of an audience of experts is just like mind-boggling for me. But so one of the big things that I realized very early on in my life is the fact that there's a very big disconnect between what a builder's contribution is to the larger economy and what the fundamental core perceptions that customers have towards builders is, right? And this has a very, very large cascading effect in terms of how builders are perceived and what real estate is perceived as, right? Now, what was the core problem that's there, right? Like that's, if you address that core problem, that's how you actually unlock referral sales, right? Because if customers are happy enough to talk about you.
Akhil, can I request you to start the presentation in the presentation format? The content will be more legible that way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cheers.
Right. So there's a very sharp difference between how the customer is perceiving this transaction and how builders typically perceive the transaction. So customers are making an aspirational purchase where they're putting in their life savings, taking a loan for 20 years to buy into the property. Whereas for us, we're making mechanical sales, right? So we are doing 100, 200, 500 units a year. And because we are doing that kind of volumes, for us, it's just another dream, right? Now, every customer is coming with a different kind of a dream because a senior citizen is thinking differently about the project than, say, young parents, right? Like, or say how an investor is perceiving the property. But all of them have certain common perceptions. That is what we try to tackle, right? And by tackling this, that's how you unlock referral sales. Now, one of the most fundamental perceptions that we have to tackle is that there's a similarity between how customers perceive a real estate company and the government, right? Both are long period engagements, 3 to 5 years. Both are transactions where you're paying 30% towards your taxes, 30% towards your home loan EMI, right? So both of these are naturally transactions of hate because like no one likes paying taxes, no one likes paying electricity bills, credit card bills, or their home loan thing, right? Like we might be happy with what it gets us, but there is still going to be thing. And fundamentally, there's always going to be an aspiration versus expectation mismatch, right? Which obviously comes out during the point of possession, right? So this is the core thing that we have to solve for. Now, referral sales works in a predictable way, right? So at the point of booking, you will see that customers are putting in their life savings, taking a loan. So the conviction is incredibly high. And that conviction translates to them getting excited and telling their friends about your property, right? That, okay, I just bought into XYZ builder. That leads to referral sales. Now, during the waiting period, different forms of things trigger them, and that reduces the amount of referrals that comes out, right? Post-possession, people are biologically programmed to love their house, right? Automatically, they start seeing everything right in what is in the house, right? But it's very interestingly, customers are thinking, feeling, and doing 3 separate things at this point, and I'll cover that a little more later. But after someone starts living, that's actually where you can also generate a lot of referral sales, because cost of sales from this vertical is less than 2%. It's a brand building vertical because your customers are giving you the most authentic reviews. Leads coming from this vertical have the highest conversion ratios. And this is the one place where people will focus across. Now, we are actually doing this across the country with some of the largest builders there. Every company that we are working with, we are working on a group level, right? So there's not very many things that you can do on an individual project level. So if you're thinking that, okay, I'm going to start with one project and then try doing it with other projects, it's not going to work, right? You have to actually think of this as your entire company coming together and creating an identity, right? So think of, say, how there's Marriott Bonvoy, right? Or Club Vistara or Amazon Prime, right? These are different loyalty programs that's there, right? So with us also, what we've done is that we've created different loyalty programs. So with Shapuji, who actually spoke earlier, we have Club Benefic on the customer side, Affinity on the broker side, but that's a separate thing. Goodrich Ambassador is our customer loyalty program with Goodrich, so on and so forth, right? The first thing that you must do is give it an identity. Now, why is then identity important? And identity is important simply because you want the feeling of delight to go towards an identity, right? It can't be going towards something ambiguous. It has to go towards something, right? And creating a centralized place, which is also your referral program, is a great place to start, right? Now, what is this loyalty program supposed to do to get you more referrals, right? So your loyalty program is supposed to be the friend that guides you, helps you, and celebrates with you, right? All three of these terms are incredibly important. Guiding you is from the standpoint that customers are doing this once in their life, right? All associated purchases with the house is also a one-time transaction. So your home loan is a one-time transaction, your home interiors is a one-time transaction. Everything that you're doing is something that the customer is doing for the first time. And these are all high-value transactions. And because they're high-value transactions, they automatically come with their own set of anxiety because no one has a decision-making structure to actually go through this, right? Helps you from the standpoint that as a builder, um, you can help the customer, right? And you can help the customer execute their dreams and execute what their thing is. And lastly, celebrate, right? If you celebrate with your customers, celebrations is what people talk about, right? And when you celebrate with your people, they drive more referrals for you, right? So what we're going to do is that we're going to go through the homeowner journey and very quickly take you through what the different uh, things are. So you have to have different objectives at different stages, right? Now, at this point of site visit, you're trying to create, with your loyalty program, you're trying to create a brand to project comparison. Now, what is a brand to project comparison? Typically, when a customer is going around buying a project, he's making a project to project comparison, right? But if you're a real estate brand, you know you're going to be doing something better, right? How do you articulate that and how do you deliver that beyond the fact that, okay, we've done X, Y, Z number of projects? Creating a loyalty program is a great way of doing that, right? Because you're saying that, hey, you're not just buying into the home, you're buying into an entire ecosystem with us, right? Now, especially in ready to move in properties, sales teams find it more efficient to sell with this, right? That, hey, I'm not just selling this, but I'm also the home, but I'm also selling you 30% off on home interiors, 50% off on mattresses. The whole perception of the salesperson from the in the eyes of the homeowner fundamentally changes, right? So there are different forms of touch points. So points of interventions is listed on every slide, and there is different forms of marketing interventions and tech interventions that you can do over here, right? That you can smooth. So some marketing interventions is that, okay, can I reassure customers with testimonials, right? Booked customer testimonials. Can you create um, a lounge on the site itself where you can create awareness about this referral program? Tech interventions include smoothing out the document process, right? Like documentation, once it's happening to you, once it's happening to the home loan company, all of that thing, right? All of that stuff can be streamlined, right? And easily accessible. So what we've done is that with Shapuji, which was an earlier session today, we have club benefit lounges that has been created across all sites, right? Similarly, with Key Club, Piramal, we have lounges again over there, right? Woodridge, Club Outdoors with Gera, right? Like, so we've created different places where people can engage, right? And we create awareness about the referral program at the point of site visit itself. Now, at the point of booking, the objective over here is to reduce cancellations, to make onboarding efficient and easy. The more efficient it is, the more likely they are towards a thing. Here, one thing that we are interestingly doing is that we are shifting the goalpost, right? So if a customer is thinking that, okay, at the point of booking, I'm getting the excitement and the high of becoming a homeowner, the communication that we design actually pushes this towards registration in Maharashtra and 10% in other states, right? The idea over there is that, okay, the customer is anyway going to go talk to their friends and family about the fact that they've booked into a property. So if that excitement is delayed to the time that they truly become homeowners, which is the point of registration or 10%, right? That's when the whole deal is actually cemented. So why not push the celebration a little further, right? And when you push the celebration further, your communication changes a little. The customer's perception towards it also changes a little, and it gets longer referral sales as a byproduct. Right now, there are different forms of points of intervention that's there. So you have your booking kit, you have your site visit that's happening. When the site thing is happening, you can have the lounge as a space where you sit down, make the customer sit down, celebrate with them, explain what the loyalty program is, and so on and so forth. Right. Um, right now, over here, there's a whole welcome kit and everything that goes through, and you can streamline all the information about the project, the welcome kit. All of it should speak one language as a brand, right? Keep in mind that you're bringing a customer into a new lifestyle, right? That's what we are selling to all our homeowners, that you're not only buying into a house, you're buying into a home, you're buying into a lifestyle, right? When you're selling these things, you actually have to introduce these things, right? Now, at the point of registration, there is a whole host of things that's happened. So this can actually get very, very overwhelming for the customer. Some of our clients, we've actually seen that the NPS falls from booking to registration just because the customer gets extremely overwhelmed with the amount of paperwork that goes on, right? Like there's so much repetitive paperwork that also goes on that also frustrates the customer. The number of calls that they're getting is also frustrating for the customer because they are handling 10 home loan companies from the second day book the property, right? So all of these are different forms of challenges that overwhelm, right? And now this period is super critical for us because we are trying to tap them for referrals because they can get us a lot of referral sales instantly. For us, this point is when we start celebrating the happy homeowner day, right? So this is akin to say a birthday, anniversary, and we now create a happy homeowner day for the customer, right? That okay, 10% is when we celebrate this thing. We give the customer a welcome gift, which can be designed towards generating more referrals. That okay, how can we make it into say a tiny little talking point that customers could take back to their current house and use through the 3 to 5 years that they're waiting, right? There's different forms of technology interventions that happen. So you have to be giving them very, very clear updates, notifications, creating all the scheduling and everything also has to be streamlined, right? Because let's understand that fundamentally customers have a very, very different kind of customer journey that they're going through for everything else today, right? Whether it's booking a cab, shopping online, ordering food, all of that is perfectly streamlined, right? So the customer's expectation when they are buying a house is also at that level, right? And it's your job to deliver, right? Now you have to, when you're introducing a lifestyle, why not introduce a whole onslaught of offers, right? That okay, when you come to us, you're getting home interior brands, lighting brands, appliances brands, kitchen brands, mattresses, everything, right? That this is the quality of life that is there. Now, something that you must keep in mind is that for every project, you have to have a target and an aspiration kind of brand, right? Like you have to hit the kind of brands that the customer is likely to consume and get some offers that is slightly aspirational, right? Because customers want to feel that one level extra, right? That's why they're upgrading their house and they want to still constantly feel that one level extra that is being there. Now, waiting period is the most important period because this is where you have to ensure that your customers don't get irate. And if they don't get irate, they'll keep rewarding you with referral sales forever and ever, right? This, funnily, is also one of the places where you can actually streamline a lot for a long period of time. A lot is inside your control. And all we have to do is be proactive with construction updates, be proactive with payments, demand bills. Everything that's there needs to be, there has to be clarity there, right? Customers shouldn't get shocked, right? That, okay, if construction updates is getting delayed, that's one side of things, right? But we've actually seen one instance where a project that was scheduled for 2026 started getting delivered in 2023, right? So now the expected TTA for that is 2023. Now the customer is now thinking that, hey, how am I supposed to pay 100% by the end of 2023? You told me that this is going to be 2026. But what the builder must do is proactively give that, okay, this is how this is affecting all your payments, right? And build out what the financing options are around it, right? That so that the customer feels more at ease and bring the customer a solution, right? That this is the solution that exists for towards the problem, right? Now, during this period, we're in control, where project, like 90% of our projects are getting built on time today, right? So at least for those 90% of places where the projects is getting built, let's reduce our TAT of tickets down to 2 days, right? Customers are expecting instant resolutions for most of the things, right? Can we not bring down our TAT down to 2 days in terms of tickets? Happens with a lot of monitoring, happens with auto escalations that you have to plan for, and deliver on this, right? Now, another thing that customers go through and actually say delays your collections is that uh, why can't you templatize all the compliances and all the different things that the customer is going to need in this waiting period? And when you templatize it and give it to the customer, automatically you can just standardize this, right? That you can just send this across to everybody. Now, you can ask for referrals in different ways. You can keep sending them lifestyle deals. I understand moving in deals doesn't happen at this point. You can think of different points of intervention for referral benefits. Um, uh, Proactively give them information and give them a spot where they can easily find information. Um, sorry. Now, moving in, right? Moving in is a very special period because the customer is going to have a housewarming party very, very soon. When the customer is going to have a housewarming party, that's sort of where you want the customer to be endorsing you to all their friends and family, right? Now, in this period, a customer's aspiration is that, okay, you're the builder, you have all the bulk deals on the planet, right? That you've built the project, you know everything on that front. So can you not help me with my interiors and help me save some cost, because I'm going to spend a lot of money on getting my house made, right? And if you just arrange this for the entire building, everybody wins, right? So solving for this, right, is incredibly important. And that's why the moving in journey is incredibly important. You can have different forms of associations. Again, you have to hit the target brands and the aspirational brands that's there. You can give them moving in booklets. You can have landing pages where all of this, all the deals and discounts that you have gets centralized. Sorry. Right. Now, post handover, this is also an interesting period where customers have started living in the society. When I said earlier in the presentation that they're thinking, feeling, doing three separate things. What you must realize is that the customer at this point, because they perceive you as the government of India, they are the only way that they know how to battle you is to fight you and yell at you, right? So they might be happy with the project, right? They might be, and we've actually done this, right? Like we've done the survey on the ground to actually see in one of the quote unquote irate projects of one of our clients, customers were in general very happy and we were getting referral sales, but the customer was lashing out towards the builder because XYZ number of things hadn't happened, right? So solving for those things is incredibly important, no doubt about that. But at the same time, know that if you've delivered a good product, you're going to get referrals irrespective, and you need to stand in front of your customer and be able to ask for this, right? Now, post handover, typically, this is where the lifestyle and the local area comes into play. Engaging them again and again helps with this. You can be engaging them with events on the ground. You can be engaging them with events online, sending out different communications and staying in touch, right? What happens is that the customer stops thinking of the project as a project that which is created by you, but they start thinking of it as their own home, right? So say if I say in XYZ West End, right? So if I stay in XYZ West End, after a point I forget the XYZ exists, right? The builder XYZ doesn't exist in my head anymore, right? It's just my house. So if you keep in touch with your customers where you've done possession a while ago as well, automatically what you do is you keep the XYZ in the name itself. Now, some of our favorite hacks in terms of getting referral sales through is that you have to give them customer-friendly collaterals. Customers don't want to feel like brokers. You have to gamify this. You have to plan for instant gratification on site visits that, okay, and referrals too, that if I've referred someone, I'm expecting something just because I've endorsed you, right? Whether that sale happens or not is a separate thing. Lead tracking and transparency. As a customer, I'm never going to follow up with my CRM team. I don't want to be following up with my CRM team. I want the proactive updates about what's happening, right? You can even create a long-term ladder for payout, which is your customer is not a broker, so you can't expect them to do 10 sales in, say, 1 month, but you can maybe say expect them to do 5 sales in 3 years, right? So when you plan for that, automatically you'll get a lot more referrals, incentivize and gamify them in that way. And lastly, of course, pay them faster, right? That's about it from our side. Using technology always helps in terms of referring, creating automated landing pages, that if a customer is a social media influencer or an office influencer, they would need self-generated landing pages. They can't sit and make all of this. They'll need customized collaterals. All of that should be available at a click of a button, right? That's about it from our side. Happy to
Thank
take
you
any
so much,
questions.
Akhil. Fantastic insights. So many developers are clueless about, how to, what is the right channel to acquire customers when they start project in a new area. And typically through trial and error method, they find the right method. But what about using those people who we've already spent the energy, the funds, the resources to already acquire to be your flag bearers? So I think Akhil has very nicely laid out the path to effectively use this channel. Hopefully, if you can share your email ID on the chat, I think a lot of people are looking forward to getting in touch with you.
Absolutely.
And we look forward to engaging with you. You're a young guy. You said you're 30, but you have fantastic insight. And
thank you so much.
A lot of young developers would like to interact with you going forward.
Would love to interact with everybody, right? Like this industry has been extremely kind, and would love to chat with anybody.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Have a lovely evening, man.
Thank you so much. See you.
Thank you. See you.